Jerry and Esther ordered a beautiful piece of furniture in California to be delivered to their new house in Texas. And they waited a long time for it. And when it came, it was all wrapped up. It was a console table, and it was wrapped up, really well wrapped up. And Esther was so happy that it was so well wrapped up because she knew that it would be in very good condition, so well wrapped up. And the nice men who brought it, the white glove service who brought it, that were going to unwrap it and place it where they wanted it to be, as they unwrapped it and Esther looked at it, she was so thrilled with the beauty of this magnificent table, but it was upside down on the dolly. And when they picked it up to turn it over, the top fell off the bottom, and the bottom went crashing to the floor and broke its leg and made a hole in the floor and caused Esther to utter something we can't repeat, or it would have to be edited, and caused Jerry to utter something even worse. And well, it always sounds worse coming from him because it's so out of character. And so the men stood there with no blood in their faces at all. They were completely good children. No color at all in their face. And Esther said to them, because she had witnessed it happening, she saw the top was just inadequately attached to this very heavy base. There was no way they could have turned it over, given the circumstances that they were dealing with, without what happened happening. And Esther immediately said to them, this was not your fault, this was not your fault, this was not your fault. The top was attached with very small screws. So then Esther and the lovely woman who ordered it began calling the company to find out what could be done. First, can we get a new base? Second, will you pay for it, since we were sort of booby-trapped here? And over a sequence of many, many emails, it was concluded by the people who sold the piece that it was not their responsibility. And Esther doesn't really disagree with that because they weren't there. They didn't have their hands on it. They didn't drop it. They probably weren't there when it was wrapped up either. In other words, trying to point culpability is really a sort of ridiculous thing to try to do. And Jerry and Esther are very much believers in taking responsibility for their own experience. And so after much conversation, Esther's email was, we will find a way of repairing it, or we will find a way of replacing it. Let's just leave this where it is. And right before she came to that very powerful conclusion, some bedroom furniture was delivered. Now, Jerry and Esther aren't there. They're only getting reports through the telephone. And a big console was cracked. Right down the front, cracked. The picture shows the crack. Now, since Esther wasn't there, she didn't hurt anyone. In fact, her response was to laugh about it, because it's really getting to be funny how much evidence she is receiving as to the vibrational frequency she's got going on about furniture delivery. Or about people doing what they're supposed to do, or about people paying attention to what they're doing, or about people thinking about what they're doing. And there are many tentacles to this. But Esther's email to her friend and decorator was, let's just not talk about any of this until the curse lifts. And it was Esther's humorous way of really wanting to take responsibility for everything that's happening in her experience. Now, anyone looking at this, of course, the people who sold the furniture, their email was really funny. My mother, who owns the shop, is tired of having to pay for other people's mistakes, she said. And Esther is laughing. That's an odd thing for her to say to us. A very odd thing. But as Esther and Jerry and Carol are discussing all of this, they realize that there's no way out of this. In other words, you can't stand in the middle of this as it stands and figure it out and shift your vibration to begin getting different results. Esther's first response was, hold all furniture deliveries until later. In other words, let's just stop the action until we get a vibrational grip here. Because we're responding to one thing which is causing us to offer a vibration to it, which is setting us up for the next and the next and the next and the next and the next. And we say, don't you love it when obvious things point out to you how the law of attraction works? Don't you love knowing that even though you didn't break the table and you didn't want it to be broken and you really don't think you expected it to be broken, you responded to it being broken, and it doesn't matter where your vibration was before, you're having a response to a broken table that is not setting you up well for future tables coming. In other words, you just can't get around it. Your response to what is happening in this now reality is causing you to practice a vibration. Now you can proclaim, and Esther did some of this, not much. You can proclaim, it's not my fault. You can proclaim, hey, it's real. This really happened. You can proclaim how right you stand in relationship to where other people are standing on the subject. You can proclaim that all you want. But the fact of it is, you are having a vibrational response to something that future things are responding to that vibration. And this is the way we want to put it to you in a way that you can really hear it. You are letting reality train your vibrational frequencies. You're letting what is train you. Now that's all right if what is pleasing, and plenty of it is. If you could be a really good selective sifter and really just scour every moment, every face, every person, every situation, every memory, every idea, every subject, if you could just scour it looking for things to appreciate, what is could serve you so well, because then what is would train you into a frequency that would produce more and more and more and more wonderful things. But if you are problem-oriented, you're not. That's the thing that's so funny. You're not problem-oriented. You are eternally solution-oriented. But most humans are stuck in the problem part of the solution. And so what we want to suggest, some of you have been with us for a while, yes? Some of you have been listening to us for years. Some of you are listening to us on a really regular basis, reading everything that we write, wanting so much to become a vibrational match to your best well-being. We want to say to you that in everything that we've encouraged you to do, and all of it has been with the interest in helping you to clean up your resistance and therefore allow your movement into this vortex where the solutions and the good life that you want is. We have a suggestion that is really simple and really powerful, that if you can hear it on the heels of everything that we've presented to you here today, will serve you maybe better than everything that you've ever heard or attempted or practiced or tried before, all put together. And that is, if you can accept the reality and the validity of this vortex of creation, if you can accept that, yeah, there's a physical reality going on, but there's a vibrational reality going on too. And if you can accept that this vibrational reality is the present tense, real-time, expanded, amended version of who you have become, and you will care more than everything else in your life put together about your relationship with this vortex, your relationship with the inner being, with the God who is within you. If you will care about the existence of this vortex, and you will care about tuning yourself to it, and then when you find yourself in this vortex, which means you're feeling free, or you're feeling interested, or you're feeling frisky, or you're feeling a little elation, or you're just feeling happy, you're feeling appreciation or love. When you find yourself in a moment feeling that, if you will stop and acknowledge, I'm in the vortex. I'm in the vortex. I'm really in alignment in this moment with everything that I am. And you will contemplate that and do everything you can to milk this moment for more vortex time. Meaning you'll practice the vibration of the vortex. What happens when you practice it, it just becomes more familiar. It becomes more chronic. It becomes more natural. It becomes easier to get there next time. It becomes easier to stay there longer. And it becomes easier to recognize when you're off a little. Have we convinced you that you are vibrational beings? Do you believe that we are vibration? Do you believe that this time-space reality inspires vibrational expansion? Do you believe that everything that you see in terms of manifestation was a vibrational reality first? Do you believe that this planet came into being because it was visualized? Do you believe that you are a vibrational interpreter, and that what you see and hear and smell and taste and touch and so on is your interpretation of vibration? Do you believe that what you see in your dreams are indicators of your vibration? Do you believe that your dreams are reality? Well, they're not really reality, but they're a sort of reality. They come from somewhere. In the same way that you see that your dream is something that is created by you, do you understand that your real life is something that's created by you? And does that make it easier for you to understand that this vortex is something that's created by you? And do you understand that in the same way that what is in terms of the manifestation of your planet and its technology and your clothes and your body and your eyes and all the stuff that surrounds you, that it comes into seeable, smellable, hearable, tasteable, touchable manifestation because enough attention to it has been given long enough that by law of attraction it must. It's evidence of vibration. Can you get that? And so therefore does it follow that there is a vortex that is waiting for you, waiting to come into manifestational evidence, and that it could come sooner than later once you learn to align with it? Have we convinced you that if you could have less determination to dissect the realness of reality and more soft willingness to feel the emotion of vibrational reality would become reality? That's all it takes to shift it. Esther couldn't find her gold pen. She looked everywhere. It was upsetting to her. She wanted this beautiful gold pen. She looked and looked and looked and looked. They moved to a new city. She thought, well, when I unpack everything, it will show up, but it didn't. She went through every pocketbook, every piece of clothing. The pen was lost. The pen was lost. The pen was lost. It was lost. It was lost. She could not find it. It was lost. She had lost the pen somewhere. That was the reality. The pen was not in her possession. She could not find it. She had searched every square inch of everything that she owned. The pen was lost. The reality was that it was lost. It was lost. And then one day, after she'd given up on the lost pen, she was looking for something else, and when she reached in the handbag, she came out with the pen. And it was so illogical because she had turned that handbag inside out. She had dumped it upside down. She had felt everywhere. But you cannot find something that defies what you believe. Your belief brings you the manifestation. In other words, manifestation follows belief. Manifestation follows expectation. It has been our desire in these hours that we've been here together today to convince you of our absolute knowing of what you've got going on over here in this vortex. And when we look at what you've put there, we are thrilled at how you will feel when you allow yourself the releasing of the resistance, which is the only thing that keeps you from having the $100 million or the relationship with your child or anything else that you are reaching for. All things are not just possible. All things that you've been asking for are actual. They are actualized in this vibrational reality. All you have to do is believe in the vortex. Pay attention to the way you feel. Care about how you feel. And milk it when you feel good. And lighten up. And be more playful. And not make such big hairy deals over things that just don't matter. And it is our promise to you that your vortex will begin to reveal itself to you of things that you have long been asking for as soon as today.